Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Ctrl Alt Refuel. I have Chris and Gareth with me and I'm Paul. Hello everyone. Wave at the camera, chaps. There we go. Chris has been up for quite a long time, so he might be a... yeah.
I'm alright. It's on the bean.
Yeah.
This is our first proper episode. Isn't this exciting?
Yeah, I was going to say, when you call it episode 2, the first one was
episode 1.
Well, yeah, the first one was supposed to be episode 0, but I sort of... yeah.
That doesn't exist. That's like going through a tunnel where the trees meet and pretending that's where the fairies live. It's not the actual truth.
What's he saying?
We need subtitles for that.
What's he saying about the fairies?
When you go through, like, when you drive through... Have you never heard this? When you're in, like, when you're driving, and then when the trees touch each other at night, it's like a bit like a tree tunnel. That's where all the fairies live, and that's what you tell the kids. Your fairies live.
Okay, can I just write this down? Hang on. Fairies tree tunnel. Yeah, okay. Something caught my eye a couple of days ago. We've not had a scrappage scheme in this country since, checks notes, so I didn't write it down, 2009. The Italians started one last week. The scrappage scheme in Italy, if you live in a town and you don't earn a great deal of money, you can get a Leapmotor T03, which is a dog, but nevertheless.
Oh, that's shit.
It's awful. 4,900.
If you're driving down the street and everyone sees you in a Leapmotor, they're going to go, shopping vouchers.
Well, yeah, and in Italian, and I speak a little Italian, they have Fafungala. That's 4,900 euros for that purchase price.
Wow.
And the Dacia Spring, which I'm not that keen on either, £3,900 after the scrappage and after all the local incentives. That's pocket money for those cars. I mean, they're not very nice cars, but nevertheless, it's dirt cheap. But I'm not that keen on scrappage schemes because, I mean, when we had the scrappage scheme here, we imported a load of foreign cars, foreign new cars. They did nothing for British industry, which is why, as we might talk another time, I'm quite keen on the UK electric car grant because it shamelessly benefits UK but European manufacturers. I was in Italy in Easter 2023 and there were no EVs. There was a Tesla at the airport and I saw a Leaf or something on the road, but I didn't see a single charge point as well. The Italians are way behind.
Why don't you like scrappage schemes?
Because they distort the market, because they take perfectly reasonable cars.
Got opinions. Go on. I can feel the passion.
They distort the market. I was rather hoping you might agree with me, to be honest. They distort the market. They bring in imported cars, not homemade cars. They're not a very efficient way of improving the environment. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to take old clunky cars off the road, and they have to be 10 years old. The Italian scheme is the same as our old scheme from 2009. Gareth, help me out.
Well, firstly, when was the original scrappage scheme? It was what, 2000?
2009, and there was in this country.
The second was there was one earlier, wasn't there? Because I remember there was loads of
2000. Yes, there was 2005 as well, and there was £300 million was the budget for these schemes. I couldn't find any information on how much they actually spent.
But it worked though, didn't it? Especially the initial one, because it got a lot of people into new cars that couldn't afford new cars. How it pissed me off as a car dealer was all the cars that you would have bought in part exchange just went in the bin.
Went in the bin, precisely.
That was a payback. I mean,
isn't that the point? It's the car is being scrapped.
Yeah, it didn't need to be scrapped though. It could have gone on to have another use with someone else. The point of the scrappage scheme, I think anyway, was to get people into new cars that are holding off buying them because they think, our cars are right. You know?
Well, importantly, newer, more efficient cars. But that's not really the case. And don't forget, every time you build a new car, there's a certain environmental overhead to that. And all we really did was just build a bunch of new cars, mostly in back in 2009 and 2005. They weren't even mostly German. They were mostly Korean and Japanese. It seems a blunt instrument. I think
it's one instrument. I think I'm on the fence a bit. I quite like the scrappage scheme as far as it was getting people into new cars. I agree with you though, it was getting them into new cars that are also at that time just the same car, weren't they? Just a newer version of it. A scrappage scheme or a grant to get people into EVs is wholly different, isn't it? We want to get these old horrible burning cars off the road if we can. But having said that, people need to be sensible and when is the right time for them to jump, which is something I wanted to talk about at some stage. But yeah, I don't think they'll do it here. How's it work in Italy? I mean, it was in France, wasn't it? A few months back.
Yeah, it wasn't really that popular in France.
It worked for little tiny cars, didn't it? All the small stuff was quite popular. But
yeah, the criteria for the Italian one is quite strict. Much stricter than our one the previous decade. You had to be relatively low paid. You had to live in the city. You had to have a 10-year-old car, but this 10-year-old car had to be at best Euro 5.
Hang on a minute. Why do you have to live in the city?
Because that was...
They wanted to get emissions down in the city, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, Italy is a rather more agricultural, rather less city-based country population than we are here.
They can use public transport. Surely, anyone wants to lives out in the sticks. They need the car. And the thing with the scrappage scheme is like the whole point is for the people what believe that EVs are saving the planet, they're reducing local pollution, but we're not going to save the planet. But the scrappage scheme was the whole point was to get a car off the road and replace it with a new one. But when you hear people saying, "Oh, I've got an EV, I'm Captain Planet," amazing, but it's like you're not Captain Planet because you traded in your old car, so all you've done is add another car to the road. So the scrappage scheme's good because it gets rid of an old car, but people go, "Ooh, yeah. I've got a green stripe on my number plate. Check me out." But you're not saving the planet because your dirty old whatever it is still on the road down at Asda with green neon lights underneath it.
We're getting it wrong. This is not what the scrappage scheme is really for. The scrappage scheme is really for governments to try and get the car industry going. It's trying to, especially the legacy car industry, it's to try and keep them chucking out bits of inferior metal and selling cars. That's really what it was about. It was about industry.
I think it's good, yeah, because it's the whole point. I do agree with you to support business and get them building cars. And what they're telling us is like, oh, it's to save the planet. But I do agree with it because if you can get an old car off the road, throwing smoke out the back, then do it. You know what I mean? It's just the only fault with scrappage schemes, manufacturers inflate the price. So what they would normally give you like a discount. Oh well, the government's giving you a discount, so why would I give you a discount? And it's like greedy companies take advantage of things like the scrappage scheme. So although I agree with it in principle because it does get older vehicles off the road, big companies take advantage of it.
Yeah, before they have a sale, the price will be higher, and then they advertise a higher price for a few weeks, and then they make it a lower price.
If you compare the retail prices before the electric car grant, which is a similar, and I maintain a much better instrument for doing what we wanted to do, there weren't any price increases on the new cars. The list prices didn't change. Curiously, what did change, according to some of the media outlets, was that the used prices of cars crept up slightly. A couple of people who I spoke to in the industry said that when the electric car grant was announced, there was quite some time before it actually came about, before we knew the calculations and the criteria. And what it did was stimulate public demand for cars. And the public went and looked at new car price lists, found them too expensive, and then went and bought used cars, which pushed the prices up a little bit. So in short, the electric car grant pushed up prices of used cars, not new cars.
Yeah, I think that's a hard one to quantify though, because EVs or used EVs have definitely got more and more popular over the last couple of years. There's been that peaks and troughs of people being scared with nonsense they hear and stuff, but on the whole, the confidence of the public at large to come and buy a used EV is pretty high. It's pretty good. That I don't get people coming in all scared. Really, they're quite keen and excited to get involved in it. And I think it's the old supply and demand, isn't it? I can't buy enough used cars at the right price, used EVs at the right price with a margin in them. It's very, very difficult. We're doing the same Jaguar, aren't we?
Well, yes, we are. Yeah.
There's some Land Rovers now. They don't make anything, do they, JLR?
Well, not at the moment. They're not actually. Well,
they'll be starting back up again today. What we're going to take a few months.
They've started today, but it's not cars. They're only making engines.
Land Rovers.
At the moment, they're only making engines, not cars. But nevertheless, they have started production again. Yeah,
they've not made a car for 2-3 years, as in a saloon car or a hatchback or anything.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well,
they don't make it anymore. They down-tooled. All you can buy from them is parts or the Defender.
Hang on a minute. I'm missing the point. Well, what about the XF?
They don't make it. They've not made it for years.
Oh, is it discontinued?
Yeah, all the saloon, all the private, saloon cars, hatchbacks, personal transport cars. They don't make it. They haven't for years. A couple of years.
Okay.
They've completely stopped. They've got no new models, no current models. All they can say is an old used vehicle. Yeah, or as in the JLR group, they can say you like a Defender. That's it. That's all you can buy. You can't go and buy a new car that was just made. You're like an XC or something. That was the last crap that they made.
It was a good car though.
The XF was a good car. Yeah.
The XF was
with a Peugeot engine in it. Yeah, but the Jaguar's not made a good car since the 80s, in my opinion. Not a really good car.
Showing your age, now. Showing your age.
Yeah, not as old as Paul.
So what car? So what car was this in the 80s? Then you're not going to say the XJ?
No, but anything really, isn't it? Any of the old lovely Arthur Daly saloon things, or a Daimler or something. They were proper cars in their time, weren't they? Well built, well engineered. Lovely to
Is that not just nostalgia?
Down at the weekend.
Well, and the government's ploughed $1.5 million. I've got my notes here. $1.5 million. It's a guarantee of a loan from the UK government, the taxpayer, us. They haven't built a car since August.
But no, I think they're a dead brown Jaguar. It's only Land Rover that's got anything that's still, that's all that hoo-ha with that new that strange advert.
Oh God!
With all the colours and stuff.
The weird EV that they've made.
Yeah.
A massive bonnet that's presumably mostly fresh air because there isn't a V8 up there.
It would be interesting. So they're not even English, are they? They're owned by
Tata. They're Indian.
Indian, yeah. So they should.
Yeah, Indian now, aren't they?
Tata. Yeah.
Yeah, the name is synonymous with Britain, isn't it? But like Raider, it's been raised.
I don't think there is any British cars anymore, is there?
Nissan.
Nissan Leaf. Although, well, I mean, they're not actually built. Yeah, they're at the moment. Sunderland is building cars for stock, but Stellantis makes some cars here. Stellantis make some Vauxhalls here. I can't remember what. I don't really care, but Stellantis Vauxhall do build cars in this country.
One thing I will say about Peugeot, the design, they look beautiful, and so
they've always
I
been
imagine
handsome cars. Yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine if I was going to buy a Peugeot, like a 208 or something. Don't kill me. I'd buy the petrol version. I won't buy the EV version, but if I was going to buy one, but I think the design of them are really good, especially on the inside. The little tiny steering wheel where you can just feels like a go-kart.
It's hideous to drive. It's just really, really weird. It's a very strange setup. I like the look of them outside. I think the design language is pretty interesting. But
yeah, I agree.
That steering wheel. You're looking over the steering wheel for your speedos, like. It's down there, and you wouldn't fit your giant legs.
I've driven an E208, and I really liked it, but my wife was dead against it.
It's a really good-looking car, though. Externally, it's a really good-looking car. The E208.
And the the cabin's really nice as well.
Yeah, I always say they're an okay EV and probably a good car, but they're not a great EV. You know, there's so much better EVs out there. But if you just wanted a car, it would do fine. But
just some car.
You know, it's just a car, isn't it? Just I don't know. It's like cornflakes with no sugar on top.
Stellantis are at the moment turning out some car. And
I know someone who has
half a dozen brands. They're all on the same platform.
On the same platform, and they're all compromised because they're also the ICE platform. So you just get a mishmash of nothing good really.
Going back to the Puma, it's weird that the Puma's based on the old Fiesta, which was always a great car until they discontinued it. But the what do they call it? The Gen E, which gets the tier 1 of the car grant in this country.
Gen E, you got it's called Gen E.
The Puma Gen E. It's essentially an ICE car with an EV powertrain thrown in, and it's actually turned out to be reasonably decent. The cabin's a bit cheap. Your son's getting one, isn't it?
Transit Connect, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Alex ordered one on that £149 a month deal.
Yeah.
£149 down because he's tight. But he's never had an EV himself. He's in a diesel Fiesta. So,
have you got a delivery date?
No, sometime in December apparently. They're selling like hotcakes. It's like
yeah, they are
sold. It's super popular. But I nagged him the first week the offer was on. He didn't do it, and he did it the second week. So he's fairly high up the list, I think. But yeah, December. But my point is, from him going from a 16-plate diesel Fiesta to that, it's going to be quite a big change for him as his first EV experience. You know, But some multi-fuel platform cars can be really good. Others can be utterly shit. You know, are we allowed to say shit? Have we had any?
Yes.
I think we can say fuck. We can't say cunt.
We can say wank, yeah. But yeah, some multi-fuel platform cars can be utter wank.
Thanks for making my editing job harder tomorrow, guys. Well done.
Just put a on it, you'll be fine.
I always bore on about the Kia e-Niro. That's a multi-fuel platform car.
It is, yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, we're talking about a car here from 2019, 2020, and that was really good. Same with, even the other stuff like the e-Golf and the Volkswagen e-Up. It can be done, and but I think a lot of it's just like luck of the draw. I think the Puma won't be anywhere near as good as those, but it'll be all right. There's lots of room in it. It'll do a job. It will start and go. But
I mean, from what I can tell, the interior's a bit cheap. The second row of seats is a little bit compromised, but then is in almost every single EV that you'll try. But the boot's enormous, Scott.
Yeah.
Checking notes, 523 litres of space in the boot. That's enormous for something that's actually got a slight fastback body shell. And it's a Fiesta underneath, and that was an extremely good car.
I've got a theory on this. It was because it's front wheel drive, and it was. I reckon it was thought and perceived initially to be a rear wheel drive car, because that big boot space is because of what they call the Giga box, which is the big boot underneath the rear loading.
Yeah, there was going to be a subframe and a diff in there, and that now doesn't exist.
And the other thing they've done is they've put quite a small battery in it with a massive buffer, something like 10 kilowatt hour buffer.
Oh, how big's the battery? Oh, hang on a minute, my research doesn't go that far.
Kilowatt hours?
40.
40 kilowatt hours, I think, something like that.
And that's usable or actual?
Yeah, no, it's got like a 10 kilowatt hour buffer, as we understand it, something like that. A really huge unused buffer. So they're either worried about massive amount of degradation, or they're going to unlock more of it for a long range version. It's just
a simple software update, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be if it is. But I mean, I think they just don't. I don't know what batteries they're using. I imagine they're OG Chem, but I'll try and
Duracell.
Huh?
Duracell. It comes with a little bunny rabbit and a drum.
Yeah, they've stolen something from there. But yeah, it's based on the Transit E Connect, so I don't know what they use for that. But we'll see. I think it will be all right. I don't think it will be anything groundbreaking. I think people will like it. It should be fairly reliable, but it's just a bit vanilla for me. It's,
The reason we're talking about it is because it's incredibly cheap. I mean, I was when I was writing my my crib sheet. I saw a lease for £130 a month.
Yeah, it was a bit bigger deposit, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
£149 a month.
But crucially, that is the £130 a month for the EV, for the Gen E as we call it. So the lease of the Gen E is £130. I've seen it cheap. Yet the internal combustion engine versions are £300. So it is Ford are really trying to bash it out, and that's great.
And you don't want a petrol engine Ford, do you? Especially after all the eco boom.
Oh God, no!
Out wet belts and everything, you know.
Oh yeah, that was horrible.
But as these ICE cars get newer and they have to jump through all these hoops to be relevant, the quality and the longevity just goes down and down and down.
Yeah.
There's so many cars on my list that I think no, I can't buy them. I can't buy them. You know, it just gets bigger all the time. So,
thank you to Chris and Gareth for making episode 2 of Ctrl Alt Refuel. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we welcome your comments on YouTube and Twitter or wherever you heard or saw us. Please like and subscribe. We'll be back again soon with episode 3. Thank you again. Goodbye.